I tell my business all the time, so I'll go ahead and tell this. There was a time when I was in a really, really dark place, and I was depressed, suicidal, all those things. And I share my story because I want people to learn from it. And it took a toll on my family, for real, for real. And the problem is you think about what it's doing to you, and you're like, hey, I ain't hurt nobody. It's just me, right? But how you operate when you are in a depressed state, it impacts your partner, it impacts your children, it impacts your friends. And once I was able to heal myself, um, and then I started talking to my friends, um, they were open with me and they said, dude, like it was really hard to be around you for a while, because you were so negative. You were, in such a dark place. We couldn't turn our back on you. And they didn't really have the tools to help. Now, if I say anything like, oh, I'm having a bad week, I'm getting phone calls and text messages. Hey, 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 what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Because as men, we don't really open up at the time. We didn't really open up and share those things. But now it's more, you're not looked at as weak if you tell your homeboys, hey man, I'm having a hard time. Now it's nothing like, I was just at a fraternity reunion and we had a memorial for the brothers who had passed away. And we all shared, about each individual, and it went around the circle. And at one point, I'm consoling somebody who's crying. And then 4 minutes later, they consoling me because I'm crying. And back in the day when we were younger, and I don't know how it was with my dad, because my dad, I think my dad was a boomer for sure. He was born in the 30s, so he was a boomer for sure. They were some hardcore men. And my dad was the type, I remember he had a friend who passed away, and I remember him wanting to cry, and he went and he hid because he didn't want us to see him crying. And then when my uncle, his older brother, passed away, my dad was struggling with it. And I remember, I look at it now, I was like, dude, why couldn't he just let it go? Like, why couldn't he just release those tears or whatever? But he was just in such a bad place. And holding that in can be really, really problematic. And then it impacts how you handle your partner, and to the point where you'll turn your partner crazy. I've seen it happen before. So now I'm in a place where I could be with somebody, but if they have any type of issues, depression, anxiety, I can have sympathy for them. I can even empathize for them because I've been there before. But unless you start going to see somebody, we ain't gonna be too long, because
Yeah.
I can't take the risk of you bringing me back to that place. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see that. Unfortunately, I am the type to withdraw when I'm going through stuff. So I don't talk to anybody. I will tell people, but it's usually when I've already come out of it. So people don't know that I've gone through stuff. Like right after my father passed, I went through a very depressive state, a state that I hadn't been through since
Mhm.
high school. And people don't know that I went through it in high school. Like like this is just me. I didn't tell anybody that I was going through that until after I got out of it, you know.
And see, we're friends, but you have friends who are much closer to you, right? That have known you for years. If I was your friend and I know that you went through that by yourself, I would feel some type of way, because you don't have to go through that. I may not, because sometimes like with my guys, I'm like, they don't have the tools to really help me. I know they mean well, but they don't really have shit to say that's really gonna help me when it comes to that. Now I do have one guy in particular, and what's so funny about it is he's so wise, but when it comes to like certain type of shit, he he could be dumb. right? I'm not calling that man dumb or stupid because a lot of people know what I'm talking about. And he knows it because we make fun of him about it, right? But when it comes to common sense life things, I can call him up and he can give me sage advice.
Mhm.
So I would hope that at one point you don't feel the need to shoulder that by yourself. Because I'll be honest with you, that could be dangerous.
I know. I know and I see it, but it's just habit. And the only people I would ever feel comfortable talking to would be a therapist. It wouldn't be, and I think that's just because of that's how I've always been. Like people ask me how I'm doing, and I'll say fine, and I might even give people a surface level. This is what's going on, but
I remember
I've
that
never
time.
let anybody into what's really going on.
I remember that time frame, and I remember me asking you and checking on you, like, how you doing? Because I had been there before.
Hmm.
I know how difficult it is. And honestly, when I got into my real bad depressive state, it was after I lost my mom,
Hmm.
my last living parent. So I was just like totally, and me and my mom are like this.
Yeah.
I was just like totally screwed up. And that went on for years. So that's why I tell people like, listen, man, you go see that lady. Don't. It could turn dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can turn dangerous. I had a really good relationship. Um, and this person had dealt with some serious stuff, serious stuff. And it's a testament to her strength that she was able to function and overcome what she had been through. But it still would manifest in certain times, and it impacted the type of woman that she was. And when I said, hey, listen, you probably need to talk to somebody, and she was resistant. She was like,
Hmm.
this cliche, mental health. That's not something that, she was just totally resistant to it. And her lows were like super low. And like I said, it was just too much. So I had to walk and listen. We have fun. The bedroom was great. I at the time could see a future with her, right? Uh,
Hmm.
back in the day, before I got all heartbroken and everything, I used to be Mr. Lovey-Dovey, imagining love scenarios and all this old shit. And I was close to being like that again with her, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I
I
couldn't.
can understand that.
Yeah.
Especially if somebody refuses to get help when they know they need it, or when other people think they need it.
Yeah. And I'm a proponent of therapy, going to talk to somebody because I know, like for me, there's a certain thing that I do that if I do that, I know that I need to schedule an appointment.
Hmm.
Schedule an appointment. I need to go talk it out. And most of the time, I'm just word vomit, just spilling everything out. And it's not like my guy is really like giving me something impactful, but it's an attentive ear. And when it needs a professional response, he's there. But
Hmm.
I'll talk it out and figure it out while I'm talking to him. And then I'd be like, damn, I feel a lot better now.
Yeah. A lot of times a lot of times with most people, a good talking everything out, getting everything you have in you out. I remember when I was in my early 20s, I used to write poetry, and a lot of my feelings and my thoughts would come out in my poetry, and every time I did it, it would be like this weight was lifted because I was getting everything out. So talking to someone therapy, this is it's kind of all the same. It's getting that stuff out of you because if I heard somebody say recently, what you don't speak through your mouth will come out through your actions. And a lot of times if it's negative stuff, those actions may be detrimental.
Mm. You used to do spoken word.
Very short period of time. I used to do a little bit of everything. I'm one of those jack of all trades type of people. I've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah, nah. So, some people have said that I could be creative, but like poetry and like creating art or whatever, that's just never been my thing. It's just I don't feel like it's my thing because I don't feel like I'm good at it or whatever.
Hmm.
And I don't think I mean I've dated people who can sing that I consider, um, a creative, but I've never dated an artist like, somebody that creates art on the regular, professional or just for a pastime. I did mess that one girl that had to get it off before she came and saw me. She's an artist, but we were never in a relationship though. Have you ever dated an artist?
Um, Depends on what's up. I do have an ex who used to rap, but that was before we met. Um, I if you talk about in terms of like creating stuff, I do believe my ex who I learned how to do all the drywall and all that stuff. I can consider him that because when he would like get to painting and doing like he could do like tiles on the floor, but he could put them into like designs and stuff. I think all of that's kind of creative. Other than that, no. I've always wanted to date a singer. Just because my family sings. So I was like, if we get married, it'll fit right in, but no. Never dated anybody like that
You a singer?
back in the day.
All right, like look at you trying to be humble and shit.
No, I'm serious. No.
It don't go away.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Okay,
And I can pinpoint it too. Now my cousin says it's probably because I don't sing anymore. My voice is not because your vocal cords it's a muscle. You have to work it. So he says it's probably I'm not working it. But I can distinctly know that in 2019 I tried to sing a note that used to be easy for me and I couldn't get it out. So yeah,
but you can still carry a note.
I can carry a tune.
That's listen. I sing all the motherfucking time, and not only do I sing the wrong words, I sing off key and loud as hell. So most people I know that are like you, who are singers, who either sing professionally or they sing in a group or whatever. When you hear them sing, you can like, yeah, they can sing. Now, there may be a difference between where you used to be, because like you said, you're not training, but I don't think it goes away though. I don't think it 100% goes away. It's sort of like being able to hoop. Like if you ain't been on the court for a couple of times, you might be rusty. But if you
Yeah.
come on the court, I'm sure you can blow again.